Hello, this is Ishmael and welcome to my Java and MySQL tutorials. I'm starting a new series with MySQL. We're going to be looking at writing, reading, all that LIO stuff. Um, if you do not know anything about MySQL, I will be covering some of the basics. Um, However, I'll be using MySQL with Java, so I wouldn't be, around if you've seen this PHP myadmin. And yeah, so I will be using this, for saying examples, blah blah blah. But I'm going to be mainly using Java. Okay, so if you're familiar with this stuff, so you're in the right place. Okay. All right. So first thing we want to do is we want to establish a connection with with our driver for our database. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create a method here, public static void. Let's call it connection. All right, and we want to get a connection. So yeah. All right. So let's go class dot for name. Okay. What we want to do is go com dot. I'm going to explain it in a second. Com dot mysql dot jdbc dot driver. We want to get the driver so we can get a connection. All right, and it's giving us an error because it wants us to surround it with try and catch. And yeah, so we need this connection in order it enables Java to get access to the MySQL database. Okay, so to test this if it worked. All right, let's go like that. Actually, I didn't. Amateur. Okay, let's run that quick. Worked. Okay. However, some of you guys will be getting errors for this because you wouldn't have this driver by default unless you installed it. Oracle actually, or MySQL, they provide a jar file for this. They have this long procedure of going online and filling up these forms to get it, so I will be providing it in the link. And when you do that, what you want to do is, actually that doesn't help, you want to right click your project, or you drag and drop. You can drag and drop the jar file, which is here. I have it here, and you just right click it, and then you go to build path, and here it says remove from build path, but in your case it would say add to build path. Okay, so that's the error removed. Now we want to gain access to our database. Okay, so let me show you guys here. These are database names. I didn't create these are by default created, so I'm gonna try access the test database. Okay, we're not gonna be manipulating data or whatever. I want to keep it short, and then the next episode I will start with that stuff. Okay, so now let's go public static void, let's say connection to MySQL. Okay, and first thing we want to do is because when we're using PHP myadmin, I'm using my local host, so you need to get your correct host, let's say URL, and what you need else is a username and a password. So enough talking, Ishmael, just type it down. Alright, so string, I'm going to call this host equals, we're going to go MySQL, actually sorry, it's jdbc colon MySQL colon / this is going to be the URL local host. Okay, and what we're going to put after the / is going to be our database name. So I want to access, let's say, test, so you go test. Okay, some of you might get errors, so you need to put the port number, but in most cases you don't need to unless you're using a server. String, this is going to be our username equals, default one is going to be root. Okay, and string password, we're going to leave that empty. Okay, next what you want to do is get the access the connection. Actually, I forgot one more thing. I need to go connection. Okay, and we want to access the database, so we go connection and let's say connect equals driver control space driver manager dot get connection, and we want to select the one with the three parameters, URL, user, and password, just for shortcut, you know, lazy. Okay, so user and password. What's wrong? Oh yeah, I didn't call my one user, so obviously it's gonna give it an error. So username, and we get an error. Control Shift O. We want to import the one with the SQL, not the JDBC. Okay, so click on that, finish. Alright, and it's going to give us an error because we're going to try and establish the connection, and let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. Let's delete that one and let's call it in here. Let's say connection to MySql. Alright, let's see if it works. Yay, it works with a sad face. Should change that. Yeah, so that's it for this tutorial. You learned that you can establish a connection between Eclipse and MySql and MySql to your actual database in your local host or whatever you're trying to access it from. If you do have trouble, please leave a comment in the section below or message me. And thanks a lot, guys, and stay in tune.